First, we're going to start with giving you a little background on the League of Women Voters. We are a nonpartisan organization whose main mission is to defend democracy. We provide voter education through events like tonight's candidate forum. We have many Get Out the Vote initiatives and provide voters with our Vote 411 educational tool, which is our one-stop shop for all voting needs. Through Vote 411, you can register to vote, which the deadline was Monday, so we hope you've done that by now. And it also provides voters with the ability to pull up their specific ballot. You can see who's running, find out what candidates, where they stand on the issues. It's a great tool for voters to prepare for Election Day. And if any of this sounds interesting to you, we invite you to like us on Facebook, come to one of our monthly meetings, or we should have membership cards over there as well. Feel free to grab one on your way out. We have plenty of opportunities to get involved. We invite you all to make democracy your side hustle. We're going to begin now, and we just want to take this opportunity to thank and commend both Jamie and Phil for agreeing to debate tonight. Debate is one of the cornerstones of democracy, and we are grateful that these two candidates recognize how important it is to let the public hear directly from them what their vision is for Elizabethtown through a civil and respectful debate. In a recent Substack, historian Heather Cox Richardson wrote that many, quote, have abandoned the idea of politics, which is the process of engaging in debate and negotiation to attract support and win power. What is left when a system loses the give and take of politics is force, end quote. In today's polarized political environment, it is a testament to both Jamie and to Phil that they are willing to have meaningful and polite discussions about issues that matter to the people of Elizabethtown. Almost done. I'm not done. I'm not done. Okay. To our audience, we hope that you just really enjoy this. You leave here more informed, and that you are ready to vote on November 4th. Now, this is actually one of my longest parts, is I'm going to introduce our moderator for the evening, Jenny Engel. Jenny has a really, you're just great, Jenny, so there's a lot to say. Jenny's a lifelong resident of Lancaster County. She's been a member of our league since college. She's served as our president twice. She's served in every board position that we have at least one time. She's been a member of the League of Women Voters State Board, and she's been a delegate to the National League of Women Voter Convention 6 times. She is a graduate of Millersville University, and she earned a master's in public administration from Penn State. She owned her own marketing and communications business for many years before recently reactivating her teaching certificate. She's taught at the Ware Center, she tutors all ages, and she substitute teaches in various districts throughout the county. She's currently a director for the Lancaster County Conservation District, and we are so grateful that she is here as our moderator tonight. And now, I'm turning it over to you so that you can explain the rules and get things started. Do you need this mic? Or are you? Let's try it.
Okay, we'll try it. I've got teacher voice, so. Okay, welcome. For those of you who may wonder why we don't have more of these candidates, it takes 2 candidates to have a debate. And in many cases, one of the candidates will either not respond or not agree to debate. So we used to have many of these events. And in recent years, if we have one an election cycle, we're lucky. So I'm very pleased that both of these candidates were willing to join us tonight. And I'm sure they're going to be respectful of each other and address the issues, and we won't have any personal attacks on anybody or any personal remarks. And I would ask that any of you who think you cannot last without your phone for an hour like the kids in school, I always tell them, you're not that important. So please silence your cell phones for the next hour. And if you would also please wait until the end to take pictures and or clap. Please do not boo. Please do not call out. We have 3 questioners. We have Hannah and Carly. Carly is a sophomore and Hannah is a junior at Elizabethtown College. And Reese, who is also a questioner, is a senior at Hempfield High School. And just because they're young, don't think that they don't have important questions to ask. We have timekeepers. People have various amounts of times to answer the questions, and I will let you know how long they have. And we have a red paddle. That obviously means when our timekeeper holds it up, you candidates need to stop. You may finish your sentence, but please stop at your response. She will hold up the yellow paddle when you have 30 seconds left on your allotted time. So, candidates drew for the order in which they're going to give their opening statements, and Jamie Fickus will go first. They will have 1 minute for an opening statement. This is basically their introduction to you. It should be biographical in nature, including their qualifications for the office. And then we will go back and give them 2 minutes to explain their philosophy, approach, and principles that will be used when dealing with any of the issues that may arise in the office for which they're running. And then we will rotate through our questioners. And if any of you have questions that you don't think have been covered after our questioners ask, if we have time, we will look at your cards. If you write them down on an index card, we will look at your questions and we will ask those as well. If any or either of you candidates would like to rebut a response, if you just let me know, and if I think it's appropriate, I will give you an additional minute to rebut the other candidates' remarks. So some of our topics are the perspective on the biggest issues facing of the Elizabethtown Borough, the plan to address roadway concerns, plan for economic growth in the community, polarized politics, and police department oversight. So each of the candidates will have 2 minutes initially to respond to the questions, and then they may have a rebuttal. So, and we will have a closing statement from each of the candidates at the end. So, Jamie, would you like to start us off with your 1 minute introduction?
Hello. Excuse me. My name is Jamie Fickus. Oh, hello. Whoa. We'll figure out how to hold it. Yeah. We good? You hear me? All right. My name's Jamie Fickus. I've been a resident of Elizabethtown since 2017. My family has been in central Pennsylvania since pre-America. Somebody came over the boat around the 1660s, if I remember correctly. So my family's been in the area a really long time. My professional background is I am a project manager with 20 years experience in operations and project management. I recently started a part-time job with Kids Peace, which does permanency placement for kids in the foster care program. I can lead teams. I've have most of my career made efficient, improving of processes. I manage a ton of budgets, and I pride myself on driving towards efficiency with those projects.
Okay.
Go ahead, thanks.
Okay, Philip.
Right, everybody hear me? Okay.
I've lived in Elizabethtown my entire life, raised my family here. My wife Beverly and I have had 3 children, and we've been blessed with 3 grandchildren. I've dedicated a lot of my adult life to service in the community. I've held a number of leadership positions in organizations such as the Elizabethtown JCs, the Mount Thomas Cemetery Association Board, E-Town Child Care Center Board over the years. More recently, I've been the president of the Elizabethtown Preservation Associates, which is the organization that operates the Winters Heritage House Museum. I've been employed at Christ Lutheran Church I'm retired now, but I have been employed as a facilities manager for a little over 50 years. And we're active, my wife and the family are active members there.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's okay, that's time. All right. That's okay. So what you may not have gotten in the first time, you get 2 minutes now to explain your philosophy, approach, and principle that will be used when dealing with any of the issues that arise. So you have 2 minutes on this time. Go ahead, Jim.
Is it still me?
Yeah.
All right, well, what I didn't get to here is the community involvement. I've been involved with Scouts for probably about 10 years now. I work with Support E-Town Schools as their treasurer. I do a lot of local advocacy and civic events through Public Education Associates of Lancaster and the Human Rights Council. I believe, and this is getting into kind of decision making, which is my guiding belief is practical, people first decision making and leadership, rooted in listening and long-term thinking, not just immediate cheap options. So, not that anybody said that, but it's been prevalent a lot. And I want to help Elizabethtown grow responsibly and remain a strong, welcoming community. I like to gather facts. I like to consult the experts and engage with the community before acting. So one of the things that as a project manager I have to do often is get consensus with different people of various different beliefs to come to a conclusion that gets us to a beneficial result that not everybody may be thrilled with, but we all can live with. And I think that art is good. I don't see it a lot that much anymore. I try to communicate as clearly and frequently as I can with residents. I mean, I've been knocking on doors, talking to people, and listening to their concerns of all walks of life in the community. And I want to focus on fiscal responsibility. My main thing with spending is you're going to have to spend some money sometimes. I want to make sure that you get the value, the optimized value out of what you spend. I want to keep that as low as possible, but at some point, you have to kind of invest in your community, and that's what I really believe in. Decisions today should still make sense 10 years from now, and I really believe in that.
Okay, under philosophy and my approach and principles, first I do want to grab something that I didn't say before, which was I've served on the E-Town Borough Council for 4 terms, including a term as president and several as vice president. And I currently serve on the Civil Service Commission, so those are my municipal areas that I'm involved in right now. I think in dealing with issues in the borough, whether it's with a staff person or a resident here, I'm really committed to listening to both sides and asking a lot of questions. I found on Borough Council that when you're going to be voting on things that really affect people, you really have to know the issues and know the details. So I'm very big into asking questions so I understand where people are coming from. And I'd be guided really by, I think, the principles that have been instilled in me. I think truthfulness, trustworthiness, integrity. So I feel those come to the fore. And I think serving on Borough Council and have been elected by the people of Ward 3, I think I've earned their trust and they know that I'm pretty much trying to be a square shooter. I'm also guided by what the duties are and what the responsibilities are according to the Pennsylvania Borough Code. There might be things that I think we should do or not do, but the Pennsylvania Borough Code is really kind of the Bible of what we have to go by.
Okay. Hannah?
In a recent article, you both.
Okay. Just so everybody can hear you.
In a recent article, you both listed congested roadways as a problem facing the town of Elizabethtown. What are your plans to address congested roadways in Borough?
Okay, and let's start with Bill on this one.
Okay. Yeah, anyone who's driven out South Market Street, particularly on a Friday evening, almost any evening, knows the issues we have. Traffic is a big problem in town. And even though a lot of it is, some of it is generated in the borough, a lot of the traffic that we get is coming from townships. The development in townships does draw people into town. If they're trying to get down to 283, particularly if you're on, say, the West Donegal side, it's difficult to get to 283 without coming through E-Town. I mean, there are ways, but most people feel they come through town. So some of that is a little re-educating maybe, and I find myself guilty of it too. I end up in a traffic jam sometimes. But I know, speaking with PennDOT a number of years ago, it may sound silly, but one of the problems we have is we have too many cars. And regardless of how we route traffic on Market Street, we still have the traffic issues. So I think a lot of it does have to do with discussions with the townships, and I know the borough has done that in the past, in trying to find routes that people can take when they're in the township. And also, unfortunately, anything we do, even timing of traffic lights and the sequencing and everything is all controlled by PennDOT. So we have, not that it's impossible, but it's not a simple fix, and it's an issue that we've had for a while. And I would continue to work with the Borough Council and the police department in trying to come up with a workable solution that everybody be happy with.
Well, it's good to know that no matter what candidate you vote for up here, we're pretty aligned with this stuff. So I'll talk a little bit about what I would do differently. I like data. So the road conditions of things that are out in the town, maintaining that, making sure that we're keeping up with safety. And then, it's hard working with PennDOT and other government agencies, and it will take multi-terms probably to see anything that we would start in our terms to actually see fruition, but I believe that it's worth the fight. I hear the Borough Council now talking about these things, and they're taking an educated approach with, visibility and safety and working within the constraints of what we're currently doing. I just want to continue to make sure that E-Town is so centrally located to the major areas in our community that we're not gonna, hopefully we remain a lot of the spirit of the old town, but we are gonna continue to get traffic as the areas around us grow, so we need to be able to work with that. But one of the main things that's been happening in town, and I'm really passionate about, is we have a large elderly community, we have a huge kid community, and we have a downtown event going on right now. And luckily the streets are shut down tonight so that we can move about safely. Last Halloween parade, we didn't quite lock everything down, and I want more cooperation between the police and our event staff here to make sure that we are always planning ahead and really supporting each other, because those events are important to our community, and I really believe in them, even with the E-Town Fair. But you guys know how that gets with traffic out there, and people walking across the street and trying to avoid traffic, and people popping up behind cars. And we have that same problem downtown here if you're going to get your hair cut or stopping in at the tatted tool guys.
Okay, thank you. All right. Carly, would you like to do the next one?
In a recent article, the
Lancaster newspapers describe the role of mayor as largely ceremonial, but describe the position as a chief advocate for the community. How do you plan to advocate for the people of Elizabethtown?
Okay, Jamie, why don't we let you go first on this one?
I do a lot of advocating in my, well, it takes like 4 seconds for it to catch up, so I'll have to pause, sorry. I do a lot of advocating. I take up a lot of space for people, and I listen to the people that may not be able to attend the meeting. I attend these things. I go to school board meetings, I go to borough council meetings because I care about the community, and I can give that space. Not everybody can. So my goal of being mayor is being out in the center, responding to people, hearing what they have to say, and really listening, not just to my ideas, but to everybody's ideas. I think Phil had echoed that earlier, that he's willing to listen to everybody, and I certainly am too. But when it comes to advocating, we do have restrictions as mayor, and I can only do so much. But in a ceremonial position, that's one of the things I get to do every meeting, is I get to speak directly to people that listen to the meeting. I also, would be out in the community to hear from people, to bring those concerns back to the council and to anybody else that had a concern or an issue. So I think I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, Bill?
Yes, in the times that I've been on council, and not just that, but other organizations that I've held leadership positions in, I've had to deal with sometimes staff issues, sometimes members of the public. Even in my job, I worked for a board, so I know it was like to work for a board, but I also had a lot of people that I need to deal with in public. And so yeah, I can say in almost everything I've done, I try to, again, be a listener more than a talker, and try and get everybody's opinion. And I think I've done that over the years. I know I've taken different things to borough council that residents had issues with when I was on council, but even as mayor, I would focus on being available to people and take their concerns, either if it's a police matter or with borough staff or borough council. I would be available as a resource and try to support the public in trying to get answers to issues they have. I know it can be frustrating. People will call the borough office with a complaint and they get an answer, but they're not sure they like that, so they may go to someone in the borough council. And sometimes they get conflicting information, not intentionally, but that happens. And I would be available to try and work out some of those problems.
Reese?
What made you decide to participate in tonight's event?
Straightforward. Okay, Bill.
I think mainly because I've seen Jamie a few times. I think I first met him at the primary, and maybe saw you once or twice since then. But I really didn't know where Jamie comes from, and he doesn't know where I come from, I think. So I think it's important that we understand each other before we expect people to understand us. And the fact that, which you alluded to earlier, many times we'll see there is a debate scheduled, or at least the invitation was put out, and somebody either, like I said, doesn't show or refuses to respond. I don't want to be that guy. So I think it's important too for the residents to see who we are, what we're about, and get our ideas out. And I'd be available afterwards too if people have questions that haven't been answered. I'm always available to answer questions about whether it's my ideas on certain issues or issues that the borough has, or even issues that you have with the borough. I'd be available.
Can you repeat the question? I want to make sure I answered. I was listening to Phil.
Oh, it's basically why did you
Why
decide
did
to
I-
participate tonight?
My goodness, I'm sorry, I apologize. Why did I decide to run for mayor? Well, I decided to run for mayor.
No, participate tonight
Oh,
in the candidates.
oh, sorry, thank you, Phil. It was never a question for me to participate in this. I believe in good discussion. I believe in good debate, and I appreciate that. We don't know much about each other, and we're here having a conversation in front of all of you, and I think that's pretty cool. And it's just important. It's important to get out in front of people. It's important to have a discussion about what your beliefs are, so you know who they are, and that you know what you're voting for. Because otherwise, you're just voting for a name on a ballot that means nothing to you, and that can get you in a lot of trouble.
Hannah.
Elizabethtown has been on the national stage, including an article in the Wall Street Journal published in February of this year about how polarized the politics are in the community. What is your plan as mayor to handle this polarization and to bring the community together?
Jamie, we'll let you go first on this one.
How many questions is this? 5 or 6. Hopefully I'll get it by now. All right. Polarization. So one of the things as we walk through this, our country, our community is divided a lot. But we have shared goals too. Safety, prosperity, quality of life. All those things I think are still cornerstone of what we believe in. It's important to listen to people that you disagree with, and listen with intent. It's not always like what the words they're saying, but what might be behind that, or what are they afraid of? What's driving this? Is there a way that you can talk to them? Is there a way that you can find compromise? And sometimes you might not, and you gotta kind of understand that and just be a listener. And I think in my career, I think a lot of my employees that I managed would tell you that I'm good at that. And not just that, I help make decisions when it's needed. I also believe that in a role of mayor, I can model and I think Phil would be good at it too, model the behavior as mayor. We're not doing anything crazy here. We're either reading books to kids or cutting ribbons or opening a business and making good decisions about fiscal responsibility with the police, EMS, and fire. And that's what you need to focus on. We need to look here. What's happening here? All that chaos and what's going on outside of that. I got neighbors here that are sick or we've had to take care of. That definitely don't believe what I believe with a lot of things. And they know I'm a Democrat, and I have a yard sign out in front of my yard, and we still care for each other, and we still like each other, even though when we walk away from that, we may be voting very differently. That needs to be okay again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think when it comes to polarized politics, and it's unfortunate we do have some degree of it in Elizabethtown, like we have all over the country. But I think what we're doing here tonight helps to maybe beat that down a little bit. That we can come together. So we need to talk more with our opponents, whether it's a political opponent or somebody in the family that you don't agree with because of their opinions. But I think we also need to get to the point that we need to recognize that it's okay to think differently and to have different opinions. Thankfully, we don't all think the same. It would be a boring world if we did. So I think differences are good. It's that we need to, when they say agree to disagree, but we need to be able to walk away and maybe still disagree with somebody, but we can't let that PR our sole focus. I mean, so many times you hear the word hate, and we associate that with disagreements, and you know, disagreeing is not hate, and I think sometimes we conflate the two. So I think you know, talking to people, and even I don't think local media we have so much an issue, but even media sometimes when I look at the larger picture, I think whether it's intentional or not, I think how things are put forth in the media, any kind of media, or even social media, I think all helps to kind of fuel that fire, and I think we just need to tone all that down.
Thank you. Carly?
You have both stated that economic growth is another issue facing the community. What are your plans to address economic growth in the community?
Okay, I'm very much interested in economic growth. As far as that being a real part of the mayor's position, I'm not sure how much we would get involved in that. The only thing I would say is I think what helps with the economy downtown is, you know, one thing, the events that we hold, and the events that I think it's Live E-Town, the ones they hold, and also the chamber. I think in the limited capacity as mayor, I would work closely with the Chamber of Commerce, because I think a lot of it is with the chamber. And I know there are things with the Borough Council that could be done, and I would, again, work with the Borough Council. There are things that we could do tax-wise, giving some tax incentives to business owners or property owners to fix their business or property up, so that we get a reduced tax liability for a certain period of time, whether it's 3 years or 5 years. So there are incentives out there that we can do. But again, that also takes the cooperation of the business community and the Chamber of Commerce, and actually the school district, because the school district shares in that tax saving measure. So again, there are things we can do, and I would be very much working with the Chamber and Borough staff and Borough Council to come up with ideas.
One of the ideas that I had and support as mayor, you know, on the deciding vote, things that keep bureaucracy shutting off. Keeping bureaucracy simple for people and for businesses to apply, and offering practical support. We have it keeps shutting off.
Then why don't we just switch it and pass his down, and I'll put some new batteries in it.
You know, it's been red the entire time, so I wonder if that's been the problem. I just thought it was a red light. Continue to strengthen downtown as a destination. That's one of the things that I think is important. Continuing to support it being walkable, inviting, well-maintained. You know, I'm a big proponent of trash collection. I have a group of friends that we like to do that in the community. You know, Phil talked a lot about the collaboration with the chamber, but we also have a Masonic Village over here that I think we could be more tied with. Also, you know, for the schools and stuff like that. They do a lot of field trips down here, so it'd be good to have that. And, you know, Winter's Heritage House and the Historical Society, all those are valuable resources that we probably don't pull together enough, that I would like to see more done with. The main thing that I took out of Borough Council meetings lately is that supportive mixed-use development. So not just a giant warehouse that takes up a giant place, and more consideration to like other venues that could use it that would give variety in our town. Just like we don't want to see more vapes and pizza shops, which comes up all the time. It really comes down to what's attracting businesses to come in here. And we want a welcoming community that can allow everybody to come in, spend their money at our local businesses, and feel comfortable doing so. And I think in our press that was alluded to earlier, I don't know if the community surrounding us always feel comfortable coming in here with some things being said, but I hope that, you know, whoever gets elected here, and hopefully it's me, will continue to advocate for, you know, those types of visibility, and remember that our town has a long and storied history, and, you know, it's a good place to be.
Okay, thank you. There we go, I think. All right. Sure.
One of the major roles of the Elizabethtown mayor is to oversee the police department. Tell us how you're a capable candidate to handle that role and what your biggest plans are related to police oversight.
And Phil, we'll let you go first on this one.
Okay, thank you. One of my primary reasons for wanting to run for mayor does involve the police department. As serving in Borough Council, I've been very involved in hiring or interviewing most of the officers we have now, and worked with should be the third police chief. But I think the oversight I would do is, even though you have, according to the Pennsylvania Borough Code, you have a lot of authority to, you can suspend officers, you can declare a state of emergency, you can call in officers from another municipality, but the things, if those are necessary, those are things that I would, again, work with the police chief. I think my biggest thing would be to have a good relationship with the police chief, which I do now, but also with the officers. That's important. We've had years and times when the relationship hasn't been that good. And right now I think we are in, I think the department and its leadership and management is very good, and I want to continue to keep it that way. But I would meet regularly with the police chief, I would meet regularly with the officers, and also do ride-alongs with them, so you can sit alongside you in a cruiser and know what they're facing every day. It's amazing what our officers get involved in. I would not micromanage in any way. I mean, the police chief is the man that's in charge of the department. And I would see very few times when I would have to feel like I need to do anything over and above him, but I would work closely with him.
Alrighty, well, obviously maintaining a strong connection and mutual respect between the police and the community is important. You know, they do represent our town, and they have a lot of visibility in our community. And I do support ongoing training and de-escalation, crisis response, and community engagement for sure. Those things should absolutely be supported, which I think our police does a great job with right now. We don't have a lot of issues with a lot of the things like other cities around us have to deal with. So I think the police chief's doing a great job. I do think that, you know, regular reviewing policies, but with the mindset of being transparent and accountable is important. And I want to balance support with officers with clear expectations for professionalism and encourage neighborhood presence. Officers are visible, approachable, and part of the community. I think that's really important. Thank you.
All right. And we have a few questions from our audience. We thank you too. I live in Millersville Borough, which is very similar to E-Town in that we have a college and a small main street, so I am very understanding of that. Okay. One of our questions is, how do you relate to the borough staff and council? Okay, we'll let you take this first, Jamie.
Sure. You know, I'm on a friendly, like, I'll wave to you type of basis. Like, I've met Mark Hershey a couple times. He's been very nice. I've met Andy Schoenberger a couple times outside of Borough Council. I don't think I've really ran into anybody else in Borough Council. And I don't think the position of mayor necessarily needs that. I haven't had that when I've gone into a job. I haven't had that when I started a project. I would like to start fresh. I think a new perspective is important, and showing that a little bit of different thinking in the room could be beneficial to our town. And that's it.
Yeah, I look forward to working with the Borough Council. It's a different perspective being the mayor as opposed to being a member of council. Unfortunately, the mayor has a voice at council but has no vote, and so that sometimes is a hindrance, to actually getting accomplished what you might want to have accomplished. But no, I think I have a very good relationship with the council. I've worked with them in the past, and I think I would be a good resource for them, not just being experienced with the borough, but in the community as well. I've been involved in many organizations, as I said, and I think I bring a lot to the table, and could offer a lot of input for the council and borough staff. They are kind of the unsung heroes of the borough. I think the council and the mayor seem to get all the credit, but it's the people that are being paid and not overpaid by any means. Those are the ones that do the majority of the work, and they're the ones that answer the phone when things aren't going well. So I have a lot of respect for the borough staff, and I look forward to, again, being a resource for them just as I would with the council. So try and keep the community running smoothly if we can.
All right, the next one is a follow-up on the polarization question from earlier. It says you're open to listening to the other side. How would you deal with the other side? Should they come to the table without a program or a proposal for discussion? And if I'm reading this into this, really kind of just there to stir the pot and cause division. Is that where you were going? Okay.
We'll let you go first on this one.
Thank you. As I understand it, you're asking if someone is coming to challenge or debate something, but not in earnest.
Right, they don't have specific gripes or solutions even.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not at all unusual.
All right. Again, you can only do so much, but I would certainly give them the opportunity to have their say, but also encourage them to try and zero in on something. I mean, it's hard to deal with a problem if you don't know what the problem is, and you just maybe need to help focus them on the issue and what is the issue, and is it something that, as the mayor, I can do anything about either myself, or is it something I can I don't want to kick the can down the road, but maybe refer it to someone else that has the answers. But yeah, I know there are individuals that I think sometimes delight in just challenging for the sake of challenging, and that's fine. But yeah, I think it's just do the best you can, listening to them, asking questions, but again, trying to get them to focus on what their real issue is, and then try to deal with that issue.
Jamie?
Well, I've dealt with this a lot in my career, and as a manager, you often have people that sometimes just want to complain or yell at you, and that's usually my first question that I ask them is, do you want me to solve something for you, or you just want to vent? And if they want to solve something, we need to calm down and have a rational discussion about it. And if that's not able to be done, then unfortunately you have to kind of stop the conversation there. Let them, I'm always willing to hear them, but maybe they need to calm down for a bit and come back to the table with something rational or something we can work on together. Largely, as a mayor, I can bring attention to issues, but not being a voting member unless it's a tie, there won't be a lot of opportunity for me to start stuff. But I can certainly let people know, bring attention to issues, and try to help where I'm able. And I think listening to that hearing people, and again, what I was talking to a little bit earlier about what's kind of driving them, you know, if they're afraid, how to make them feel less afraid. My goal in my job, and something I take seriously when you run for political office, is I don't want to kick the can down the road or blame the person before me or blame Phil if he gets elected. And I believe that if you get elected, it's your responsibility to take what people give you and do something with it if you can.
Thank you. Oh, we're going to end on a lighter note. Oh, here's the question. If you were a part of the Muppet universe, what Muppet would you be and why? Okay. And Jamie, you get to go first on this one.
My people sent that question. That's a plant. The answer is Kermit. That's something that I feel is important to bring up, especially in this. He is a leader. He gets frustrated sometimes. You see, you know, he has a silly side. But also, when work gets done, they need to put on a show, they can do it. And he works with all different people, whether it's pigs, weirdos, bears, whatever. They're able to make it work. And that's one of the things that I think drives me in my community involvement, is that type of atmosphere. That if you can't, when you're out advocating for people and you're raising funds and stuff like that, you need to be able to laugh and have fun. And that's one thing I think is missing a lot, and I try to bring that with myself and everybody that I work with in the community.
Well, you stole my answer. It's been a long time since I listened to the Muppets. My kids are all grown, and I don't think my grandkids are really into the Muppets, but yeah, Kermit was my guy because I love the way he sings the Rainbow Connection. I love that. If I couldn't be him, I guess it would be Cookie Monster. He likes to be intimidating, but he's kind of a teddy bear at heart. So that would be my answer if I couldn't be Kermit.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We appreciate all your responses and your support as an audience. Now we're going to give each of you 2 minutes to make your closing argument, and then Carolyn has a few remarks for you. But I want to thank everybody in advance. And since you didn't get to pick Kermit first, Phil, we'll let you make the first closing statement.
Thank you.
Yes, 2 minutes.
Okay. Again, I just want to thank everyone for being here, and thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this. Again, I think with the experiences I've had, not just in municipal government, but in the Elizabethtown community for the many years that I have, I think I have the tools and the insight to bring to council and the borough and police department. I think I would be a very good resource for them, and I think I would have a lot to offer there. Even we haven't talked anything about the ceremonial part, but I would look forward to the ribbon cuttings, because I've been involved in a few on council, and it's not so much that you're cutting the ribbon, but it's you're participating in a new business in town, and you're helping to you're being involved with them, and you're actually kind of helping them kick off their opening, and I think it's important for that business, and I think it's a little thing, but I think it's important. The only other thing I want to add real quickly is we talked about traffic. Downtown we have a lot of traffic. What we need to try and find that medium is if we're going to be a successful downtown and prosperous, we're going to have traffic, and so we need to somehow take that traffic issue and somehow make it a positive in the downtown, because we're not going to be a prosperous downtown if we don't have some traffic problems, and it's what comes along with it. So, thank you.
Alrighty, again, thank you guys for hosting. I really appreciate it. You're doing a great job moderating, by the way. And all of you that took time out of your evening to come out today, I really appreciate it. I believe strongly that emphasizing shared goals moving forward is important. Safe neighborhoods, strong schools, thriving local economy. You've heard that echoed here tonight. I believe strongly in teamwork, accountability, and transparency. I believe that this standard should apply to everybody the same. And I'm committed to representing all residents, putting community above politics. We all live together. We all see each other in the grocery store. We don't need it to be more awkward. I think that's important. And that comes from working together at events like this, events in our community where you can see other people with different views and get exposure and realize they're not a monster would be good. And I think focusing on initiatives and things that benefit our community are the way to go. I want E-Town to be what I know it can be, and that is stronger, fairer, and more connected. I really want our town to be a place that we're proud to call home together. Thanks.
My name is Carolyn Hernandez. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters in Lancaster County. I wanted to just thank you both again for being here tonight. In a world filled with disinformation and misinformation, having the opportunity to hear directly from the candidates their thoughts, what they think, and how they're going to approach things is absolutely invaluable. Since I've been involved in the League of Women Voters, we've had 3 of these candidate forums. This is the first time we've ever been able to get a Republican and a Democrat at the same table. So, hats off to you. It really is inspiring to be able to set this example, and I think we heard that they have a lot more common ground than differences, and I think that the more of these conversations that we have, the more that we're going to find those similarities and shared goals. So thank you again. Thank you all for coming. If you have any feedback, we'd love to have it. Phil did bring some materials that are on the table on the back there if you'd like to grab something on your way out. We are happy to be here operating in Lancaster County. If you're interested in getting involved, we'd love to talk about it. Have a good and safe night. Watch all those kids out there. Thanks so much for coming.